Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today, man, the Disney news just keeps getting wackier, crazier, and stupider. We have a couple things to talk about when it comes to Disney. First of which, of course, is the big news item of today, which is that Bob Iger has reportedly taken control over Disney once again. Remember that it's been, a couple of months now since Bob Iger officially announced that he was stepping down as CEO. The next Bob Chapek, took over the CEO role and apparently has been doing a terrible job, especially in the midst of the beer bug pandemic. And so Bob Iger said, hey, guess what? I get to play the savior role once again, and everything gets to be about me. I'm going to take that opportunity because that's exactly what Bob Iger is doing here. So as you can see from the week, and this is being reported on many other news outlets as well, Bob Iger has reportedly reasserted control over Disney after stepping down as CEO. Now, let's just be clear that I and many people never thought that he ever actually stepped down from power. He was always going to stay on as executive chairman, as basically chairman of the board. And so therefore was always going to have still this ultimate power to decide what things were going to go on behind the scenes at Disney. Bob Chapek was essentially just a figurehead, just someone that was visible to be seen by the people. But Bob Iger was really going to still run things from behind the scenes. And now it's just become apparent, oh, now he has to actually show the shareholders, oh, no. Bob Chapek is not the one in control. I'm still the one in control. Don't sell your shares. Things are fine. Everything's fine here as the fire's going on behind him. You know that meme of the dog where it's like sitting at the table eating the meal, and it's just a fire going on. It's like, this is fine. This is fine. That's exactly what Bob Iger's trying to do right now. Is say, everything's fine, everybody. We're going to rebuild Disney, and it's going to be fantastic, and we're going to come out of this bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Except there's a very strong question about whether that's going to be the case or not, because your parks are closed, which is your big cash cow. You're not making any money there. Disney Plus is still struggling to keep up with the demand of the day, especially when it comes to original content. And you also, of course, have the major issue of some of your major IPs not making you any money or not nearly as much money as they should. Looking at things like X-Men, for instance, they were the ones that picked up those last failing X-Men projects from Fox, and also the debts that those movies brought along when they bought Fox. Every single movie that's been released from Fox since they've taken it over has been a box office bomb, and in some cases over $100 million box office bomb. So basically you have Disney, which is a sinking ship at this point in time, and Bob Iger's trying to say, hey, don't worry though, everything is fine. So just reading from the article a little bit, Bob Iger may have stepped aside as Disney CEO, but it doesn't sound like he's done running the company just yet. Continue to run that bad boy into the ground. Disney in February announced that Iger would resign as CEO and be succeeded by Parks Division head Bob Chapek, although Iger would remain on as executive chairman until the end of 2021, which to me tells me again he had the ultimate position of power, and Bob Chapek just had basically the figurehead role of being the CEO, but apparently even that Bob Chapek could not do well enough for Bob Iger to actually step back in to have to do it. Recently, the company said, jumping ahead a little bit, that it would furlough more than 40,000 workers at Walt Disney World, and the Times cites one analyst as saying that Disney is losing around $30 million a day. You have to add into that, of course, the fact that they already lost over $200 million on the film Onward. They're already not being able to release major releases like Black Widow and Mulan, which were set to make them some cash back, though I think that there's a question mark next to those properties now because we don't know when some of them are coming out. Again, when it comes to Black Widow, we finally got an official release date that's going to be coming out during the same slot as the Eternals was meant to come out during, but it's still a position where there are still a lot of these other projects that are either going straight to Disney Plus, like Artemis Fowl, which probably would have been a box office loss, and other major releases like Black Widow and Mulan, which have been pushed back either indefinitely or have been given a later release date at this time. And so, yeah, it's not looking good for them. It's not looking good for them. And what's especially not looking good, of course, is the fact that this is the same dude, again, because people will say, oh, but he did so many things. He expanded the company to the largest point. But that's like saying, yeah, but you know that person that expanded the Roman Empire to the largest point ever, to the point where it couldn't control it anymore, and then eventually it just fell apart and imploded? Okay, that's basically what's happening with Disney right now. It's become so large that now it's imploding. It can't keep all of these things running. When you have such a large company in charge of so many properties, there's going to be the inevitability that they're going to they're not going to be able to do certain properties or at least manage certain properties as well as other properties that would have been handled by a different company, because they're just not going to be able to, there's too many eggs in too many baskets, or too many chefs in the kitchen. One great example of this is an amazing tweet that was sent to me by JJ not Abrams. So at JJ Abrams. So thank you for sharing this, man. So basically it's a video of behind the scenes showing that they went for Disney's Rise of Skywalker. They went to the Jordan Desert and then put up a bunch of green screens to shoot it. So basically, they wasted probably millions of dollars to transport all of this equipment, all of these actors out to the Jordan Desert, which you would assume, oh, they're going to use the natural landscape of the Jordan Desert. They're going to use all these other things just so that they could prop up green screens and shoot there for a few days. That's insane. Even in the clip, you have you have the actor in there, and also Jar Jar himself saying, "Oh, some might be asking, why would we go all the way to Jordan Desert just to put up green screens? That's a good question." It's like, yeah, because y'all are a bunch of idiots. Because y'all are wasting money. Y'all just crapped a bunch of money away. And Bob Iger, I think, is at the center of all of this, because look at all the properties that they have gotten and how little money those properties have made for them in the long run. Bob Iger thought that he was going to be riding off into the sunset before the beer bug. He said, "Look, I've expanded it. I've made the Roman Empire as large as it's possibly going to be, and then when it falls apart inevitably, it won't be my fault because I'm the one that made it the largest, and I left town before it imploded on itself." It was going to leave that in the hands of Bob Chapek or probably someone else down the road, at some point in the future. But basically, Bob Iger's now having to step back in saying, "Oh no, my legacy, I have to save it because eventually I'm going to run for president and I have to have some legacy to stand on." Well, good luck with that, good sir, because as has been reported, you're losing $30 million a day. You have properties that are not making money for yourself. There's really not much that you really can do at this point in time, because all of the fans of all the properties that you have acquired have basically abandoned you, at least the hardcore ones, for Star Wars and for other properties like it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to finally maybe start listening to the fans? But no, wait, you're still not doing that, because you have a show called Clone Wars coming out, which had a great start, solid start with the Bad Batch, focusing on those great characters. And then you introduced us into characters that focused on Ahsoka Tano, but it was one of the most uninteresting character arcs for that character that has ever existed. And then we find out that you gender swapped one of the characters so that way you could have another female character. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing behind the scenes. This is the kind of stuff that Kathleen Kennedy's in charge of. This is the kind of stuff that Bob Iger checks off on. So you know what, man? If this is going to lead to the downfall of Disney, I say good. Because Disney has already become far too large, and this is even before all the beer bug nonsense, even before they destroyed Star Wars. It was already becoming way too large of a property in this point in time. So if this is the thing that equalizes for everyone, so be it. Now, I will say this much. Again, my thoughts and prayers go out to any person that's an employee for Disney, because I don't want them losing their jobs. I don't want them to be negatively impacted. However, when you have such a giant empire like this, and you have this type of thing going on around the world where things are shutting down, it's inevitably going to happen. But man, oh man, this is just freaking insane. And you know what? I'd say Bob Iger deserves it, because Bob Iger, again, as I said, propped up everything, trying to say, look how large everything is, when inevitably it was going to crash, inevitably it was going to fall apart, because something that large just cannot hold. Just ask the Romans about that. So anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that Bob Iger was ever really gone? Again, I think that him being called an executive behind the scenes basically meant he was still in charge, and he was trying to make sure that at the very least he could get his empire to last all the way until 2021, and then it can crash, and then it can fall and burn, and just, oh man, it's so insane. And also, what are your thoughts about this video? Again, it's just so freaking insane. Like, look at him. Like, Oscar Isaac's like, oh wait, we're going to the Jordan Desert to film in front of a green screen? And he's just like, in charge, it's like, I know, it's kind of crazy. Why would we do this, right? Why would we do this? Because you're a bunch of idiots, that's why. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this and all the things we talked about in the comment section below. Like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps us out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to my April Patreon and Subscribe Star members. We have animation commentator Brian P., Dion, Divex, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunker Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And to my Subscribe Star members, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Dark Star 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadon G. Adams, and ZK Man. And out of step with reality, I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank spot just previously in case any more people decide to become a Patreon or Subscribe Star member over the next few days. Just remember that as soon as you sign up, you are immediately eligible for any of the benefits. If you just sign up at the $1 tier on Subscribe Star or Patreon, you get a shout out at the end of every single video, including my live streams. If you're a $5 or up backer on either platform, you get access to exclusive giveaways where I give away several 4K Blu-rays, digital copies every single month as well. If you jump up to the $10 tier on either platform, you get access to all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with my friend John the Flick Pick of John Flickinger and the Flick Pick fame. We do a bi-weekly podcast, so every 2 weeks or so we do one, so you get probably about 2 or 3 depending on what's going on, probably more so now with everything going on in the craziness of our world, but you do get access to that. Also, if you are at that $10 tier, it means that you get to take part in the Q&A part of that podcast, and so about 24 to 48 hours before the podcast, maybe even longer beforehand, I'll leave a post in the Patreon Subscribe Star. You'll be able to leave a comment on a question that you want us to answer, on a topic that you want us to cover in a future podcast as well. All of that you have access to. And if you're a $25 backer and up, you get all of those things. Plus, you get a t-shirt for your first month. That's right. You get a free t-shirt, high quality Odin's Movie Vlog t-shirt. So just make sure if you're at a $25 and up backer level, you leave your address. That way I know where to send that to. And also I will be messaging you to get your size information. That way I can send that out to you as quickly as possible. But you also get access to an exclusive Chosen of Valhalla live stream that we have once a month on this channel, where I invite you to be on the show. You can either show your face or not show your face, or hey, you don't have to show up at all. It's totally up to you. And we talk about a wide variety of things. We talk about movies that you've been watching, modern things going on, the pop culture, and pretty much anything that you yourself want to talk about. So if any of these things sound interesting to you and things that you'd want to do, please hit that Patreon Subscribe Star link in the description of this video and think about joining today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless.